The domain name system is its size, also its biggest limitation. Now before we begin, I'd like to do a quick test. See if you can remember the following IP addresses and the websites that they correspond to on the first slide. You only have 10 seconds. Right, now if you're like me and your memory is terrible, you really did struggle with that test. When using the internet, we rely heavily on the domain name system to bypass the need to remember an IP address of a website, instead replacing it with a domain name like www.google.com. Now this can be compared to a phone book where the name of the person is the domain name and the telephone number is looked up automatically when the user defines the name. Now there are three main components of DNS, which are domain name space, name server and domain name resolution. The name server is a database of domain names and their respective IP address. When a request is made in a browser, whether it's to send an email or to view a website, the computer uses a DNS server to look up the domain name. This is called domain name resolution, where the DNS server resolves the name to an IP address, which is then sent back to the computer to use. The domain name space is the way domain names are created. It can contain letters A to Z, numbers and a hyphen, and be a maximum of 255 characters long in total, with 63 characters per node. It is written that for many years characters were restricted to 26 letters, 10 numbers and the hyphen character, except that the hyphen could only be used as the first and last characters. Under these conditions, there are 36 possibilities for the first and last character of domain name and 37 possibilities for the other 59 characters. Therefore, the total number of possible different second level domain names at the time is shown in the presentation. This has changed since, and now there are far more possible domain names. We must bear in mind, however, that this takes into consideration certain undesirable domain names like 3xtwz.com/CWY. These undesirable names are the ones that aren't very memorable or completely unrelated to the website, so they are almost certainly available. Domain names are purchased from registrars that assign the names under one or more top-level domains and register them with Inter-NIC. Inter-NIC is a service of the Internet Corporation for assigned names and numbers, known as ICANN, and ensure that there are no duplicate names on the Internet. This obviously means that for those who search, finding the right domain name can be a challenge. The last word in the domain name, to the right of the final period, is the TLD, which was originally agreed to be the thing that defines the subject matter of the website. For example, .com used to indicate commercial use, whereas recently it is widely used on all websites. In current times, TLDs are maintained by ICANN. As part of their role, ICANN are consistently looking for new TLDs to implement, which helps increase the size of domains available. The official ICANN website says, in the years following the creation of original global TLDs, various discussions occurred concerning additional GTLDs, leading to a selection in November 2000 of 7 new TLDs for introduction. Those were introduced in 2001 and 2002. 4 of the new TLDs are unsponsored. The other 3 new TLDs are sponsored. In 2003, ICANN initiated a process that resulted in the introduction of 6 new TLDs that are also sponsored. DomainTools.com showed that almost 1 million websites are active and about 331 million have been deleted in total. Investigating further, I discovered that over the last 24 hours, almost 101,000 .com domain names have been registered thus far, and 97,000 had been deleted. For this day, there have been a rise in the number of .com sites, and if this can be proven true as an average, then the number of desirable names is only going to decrease. In the worst case scenario, there may even be none left in the future if no major changes are made to the system. Now, according to a Daily Domainer, the domain name toys.com was purchased by Toys R Us for $5.1 million. In what was described as a heated auction, Toys R Us won out of the 6 participants. Seeing the price people are willing to pay for this domain name is phenomenal and supports the idea of desirability. This was probably purchased to tap into the e-commerce side of business, and so rightfully it comes at a heavy price. On the 5th of September 2011, BBC News reported that a group of Turkish hijackers hijacked some big websites including Vodafone and the Daily Telegraph. By changing the records of some DNS databases, they were able to cause users to be redirected to their site rather than the intended one. Thankfully, this was more of an act of graffiti rather than a malicious attack. Even so, altering the DNS records of a site that you don't own or have permission to alter is illegal. Now, I've looked into the DNS system and discovered a limiting factor. It can be seen that more and more websites are being registered, but ICANN are continuously adding more TLDs. If registration rate is higher than the rate of new TLDs being added, it will become a problem, as the size of the DNS system is certainly limited. We move further into technology, and as can be seen, some companies are willing to pay top dollar for already registered domain names. As more websites are registered, availability decreases, and if modifications are not made or other systems aren't used, the limit may well be reached. Thank you.